Alright guys, back in our video, and this time we're going to be going over Bergamo, and if you don't know what he does, it's pretty cool. He actually works really well with the U9 cards, so if you like the U9 cards because of Mecha Frieza or whatever other engine you play with, this guy plays them for free from hand. With attacks, draw a card, and treats all Universe 9 cards as if they had no specified cost, which is nice. Not too important for this deck, but at the end of turn, you play one guy from your hand, Universe 9, or 2 or less, and you draw a card from your life, which is nice. 4 or less, untap 2. So you kind of want to hold that untap 2 until you play a certain card we'll talk about later. On this backside, this is the exact same thing at the end of turn, but you don't need to take a life. And if you have a Basil and Lavender in play, you get to they can't attack your Unison or your leader. So really nice. So for the Universe 9 engine, we got 3 Basil, draw a card, dual attack if they have with a 15k boost, so 19k dual attack if they have 5 things in rest, which is very common. For Bergamo, this guy's the championship promo, but he's pretty cheap right now, so go ahead and get your piece if you ever want to try this engine out. He has Barrier, which is nice. You play him at the end of your turn and draw a card, so he helps you draw cards just like this guy. So these keep your hand up and help you take life, which is nice. And he has the ability to activate main. Basically, in your turn 4, you're going to use his activate main and play a card from my hand, but we'll talk about that a little bit. But the effect's pretty cool. The one everybody really knows, Forge Shabil. This guy is really good at controlling the game. When your opponent attacks, they got to rest the energy, so it makes them play awkwardly, and he's just a 15k beater as well. One of my favorite cards, Sora on Hop, blocker, and it also is like a check land if you have copies of U9 on board, which is nice. Because you do need the colors for some cards in your deck, so it's kind of important to have that blue, because a lot of these cards are yellow, as you see. And he's a blocker, and if your opponent, like if you block and they don't rest a card on their board in response to his block, you draw a card, which is really cool. One Oregano, he's a filter. You basically draw a card, but you put a card in the bottom deck, draw 2. So you play him off this, and he filters your hand. Helps you put bases back, put your targets for Unana symbol back in deck like Chappelle. Speaking of Unana symbol, 3 of those. This deck doesn't play it for free, so you don't play 4 copies. But it still draws you 2 cards if they're tapped out for playing around Chappelle or whatever. Or you tap them out with Bergamo. You get to play the guy from deck, which is nice. It's very useful under another card we'll talk about later, too. Tree of the Dangers, Mock of the Wolves, very nice card. It's one you play on 4 energy, because you have to have at least 4 energy to play it with your Champ Pack promos effect. And then you play 2 of the 4 or less U9s from the deck, and they help you lock up the board with this guy. So 3 Bergamo. So if you have this on board, they have to attack this essentially, and it goes to 25k, then 30k for each attack, which is really nice. So it's like really good at defending. 3 Bergamos. Everybody knows what this dude does, tap your opponent out. And the last U9, this guy's really interesting. The Trio, the Dangerous, Fierce Trinity. He basically comes out for 2, and it kills off Unisons, because it hits for double strike. They can't counter attack it, and he has deflect as well. So yeah, pretty nice. And if he hits the Unison, you get to remove another marker. Of course, the Monster combo. It's just a really good card. Rest your opponent's card, and you play this or trigger Bergamo. So you got 4 copies of Bojack. This is just really good with United Symbol and Bergamo. And also on the we discussed this is really good because you need to have something else you can do after you use Zamasu on the turn you play this, so that you're not just having nothing to do with your energy. And it also is an offensive card as well as a defensive card. So 2 copies of Goku Hit is nice because you don't want to play them all the time. And it works. You just pitch it for Bojack. 3 Majin Buu Unison. This way you want to play on your turn 4 and then Awaken. Super good. And along with it, you got 3 Trunks counterplay. So basically super defensive as well as put on double strike pressure as well as untapping energy. So on your Awaken turn, you'll still have 3 energy open because of the untap one on your opponent's turn. My favorite card, 3 Bean, 2D Magic, and one of my favorite cards. Now, I love all these counterattack, take a life cards if you're 5 or less. So this helps you make sure that on your turn 4, you can make sure you awaken like this. It's not that important to do that, but it is nice if your opponent is trying to, like, they realize you can't play something off to take yourself down to 4. Here you go, take a life, awaken, and then baby hatch. Your leader's blue, so you get to play the best secret rare. So that's it for the deck profile. You can play other cards as he played today, like Mechi Kabura, the Unison, and play more yellow-based Unisons, but we decided to go with a route with more blue cards. You can also play the Zamasu Champ Pack card, which he doesn't have access to yet. So if you guys have that, play that card in some form or fashion in this deck. And if you're not, main it, side it. It's really good. And he also had Frost Deadly Poison, which we discussed. We'd rather side it. You could take in Overrealm cards. This deck's just pretty solid blue deck, but it has some tough matchups, but it's really fun to play with. So thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you guys in the next video.